It is day one of the Fall Garden Challenge, so get out your pen and paper, get your workbook, and let's get to work planning our fall garden together. Today's key task is to find your first frost date. This is going to be the first day coming up when you are going to have frost, experience frost in your garden space. Now this is going to be different for all of us watching because we're all gardening and growing in different places, and that's what's going to make this Fall Garden Challenge so fun, to learn from one another. So what you're going to do is simply Google it. You're going to type in the name of your city or town, and then you're going to type first frost date, or you can even, if you want to be specific, first predicted frost date, and then see what comes up. You're going to have a lot of different websites with predicted dates. You're going to find a good average there, so somewhere in the middle, and then you're going to write that date down. Now for all of us, this date is going to be different. For some it's going to be sooner, and for others it's going to be later, and for some it's going to be never. So if you are gardening way high, if you're way above the equator, if you're up closer to the poles, then your first frost date is going to be coming sooner rather than later. Now for those of you who are close to the equator, the opposite is going to be true. So the closer you are to the center of the planet, then the later your frost date is going to come and possibly never arrive. So you may have a frost date that is coming in November, late November, even in early or late December. Or you may be gardening in a place that simply does not have a first frost date happening before the end of the year. Then there's all of us who are in the middle somewhere, where we don't have an early frost date of August or September, and we don't have a late or never frost date of November or December. We're somewhere in the middle, generally in October. So for those of us who have an early, late, or right in the middle first frost date, our job for all of us is just to simply record that date. That is step number one. Step number two is to add up the days that you've got before your first frost date, and then add up the days that you have after your first frost date, all the way until December 1st. So no matter who you are, no matter where you are, you're going to take that first frost date and subtract that date from today to come up with how many days there are left before your first frost. And then you're simply going to take that same date, subtract it from December 1st. That's going to give you the number of days that you'll have after the first frost before we enter what we'll call winter season. Step number three is we're going to take those days before frost and after frost, and we're going to label them by season. So for all the days that you have before your first frost, we're going to label those the warm season. Many people think that when that first frost arrives, the garden season has ended. But here is the good news. The garden season hasn't ended. It's just transitioned from one season to the next. So all the days that you have, whether it's 20, 30, 50, or more days before your first frost, that's how many days you have left in the warm season. Then all the days that you have from your first frost to December 1st, you're going to label those your cool season. So that's when the temperatures are starting to drop pretty quickly, and you're going to label all those days your cool season days. Now I know there are extremes. Some of you are still going to be in the hot season even in August and September. We're still going to simplify this down to warm season for you. And some of you are going to drop in your temperatures very quickly, well before December 1st, and you might argue you would be in the cold season. We're going to keep this simple for you as well, and talk about later ways that you can extend your cool season into the cold season. So for now, all of us are simply going to have the days that we have left in our warm season, our first frost date, which divides the two, and then the days that we will have in our cool season from the first frost date all the way to December 1st. You have actually done a ton of work simply by completing these first three steps. You now know when to anticipate that first frost coming. You know how many days that you've got ahead of that first frost to grow warm season plants. And you know exactly when it's time to transition the garden to the cool season, and how many days you'll have to grow in the cool season after that first frost appears. Now head to Google, grab your pen and paper, find out these dates, count the days for each season, and I will see you right back here again tomorrow for day 2 of the Fall Garden Challenge.